controls the motion. The movement is part of the plenary and made decision today. So we move to the discussion and escape that particular issue. Thank you.
Without going to our observation, let me move forward to the issue.
Thank you, President.
Our Speaker, fellow colleagues, our democracy, and particularly the doctrine of separation of power, in this government we have three separate branches. And these branches of government enhance each other through coordination, cooperation, and collaboration. Having said that, let me state the fact that our communication that invited the SOEs here are based on the fact that we, the legislature, created laws that establish and their primary function for which they were established is to raise revenue and contribute towards the national budget. Having said that, it was highly observed during the revenue hearing that some SOEs are contributing, some reneging on the reason for the establishment, and some putting off behavior of non-compliance. Honourable Speaker, quickly let me notice that the maritime, according to our hearing, are doing well. They have contributed over 75%, and we were showed through triangulation of ideas by the LFDP, by the LRA, and the committee that maritime will be protected. Similarly, other institutions are struggling, but they are still doing their best. Those institutions will include the Liberia Telecommunication Authority, the Road Fund, and others. On the other hand, Honourable Speaker, fellow colleagues, there are institutions that are completely reneging on their functions. For example, the MPA, and most alarming, Honourable Speaker, in the 2026 budget, the assessment of MPA is zero. With all of the explanation given to this committee, it will push the committee to understand that reason. Up to now, we are still wondering whether there is a need for this honorable body to review the act that established the SOEs. If you listen to their name, state-owned enterprise, they have to do business and contribute to the national budget. There is a ratio legally established which is favorable to them. But yet instead, over and over, year in, year out, some of these institutions are not contributing. I think that is the reason why we decided to invite all the SOEs in the room. Let me give a specific example of another SOE that is having some challenges, but yet and still continue to appear and explain to us, whereas others are not coming at all. For example, NAPA, I do remember, Honourable Speaker, and particularly during the time that the Deputy Speaker was serving as chairman of this Ways and Means. The House as a whole gave a consideration because of the financial difficulties that NAPA was facing. There was a resolution to extend the, I think, for a year or two. And so the new NAPA boss was invited. He came and he explained to us. And from the hearings today, the NFDP and the LRA agreed that reasons we were given of debts that they were trying to pay back for former administration, they are still struggling. But yet and still, in their struggling conditions, Honorable Speaker, they are being assessed. Then why? MPA and other entities are now being assessed according to their potential. Honorable Speaker, let me say this for the record. Fellow police, there are administrative agencies that are performing more than SOEs. For example, the Ministry of Labor. For example, the Liberia Immigration Service. For example, the Ministry of Transport. These are administrative agencies. They are not SOEs. Yet, they have been assessed more than the SOEs, and they have complied. Before, I do remember in years past, when you pass in front of the NPA, you see an inscription that used to be written, the gateway to the economy. What is happening to them?
First, please.
And therefore, Honorable Speaker, this is very serious. We believe in our recommendation to Plenary that legislative action can solve this problem. There are a couple of recommendations, I believe, upon hearing from those that are not complying, though we send out a general letter to them, but again, are provided in distinction. But those that are not applying, there are stringent recommendations that we can make to make these entities.
Can you spell out those specifically that are not compliant? They will have a discussion for the year.
Again, our speaker, fellow police, let me repeat myself, and I said, the maritime is and we have been told we will be attacked. The LTA is also performing. We are being assured that they will make the attack. The road fund is in between. There are a few things that we need to settle with the NFDP and with the LRA to make the road fund to make it happen. The ones that are not complying are these people. I do remember when my police were coming, the NPA is not compliant. The LPRC has brought even a less confusion that we are trying to settle. They have up to now contributed less than $1 million. But they are better than the NPA anyway. Honorable Speaker, I'd like to pause for this time and I will come back.
Okay, thank you. So we wanted to get the previous first, and I think we can have a discussion by dealing with those compliance or SOE. Such discussion will be focused on the non-compliant SOE. Before we move to the SOE that are compliant, especially for maritime LTA, we ask our police to make some info. We get our June. Then we move on to mobility.
Thank you, Mr. President. Inquiry for presiding police. Inquiry. Inquiry, Speaker. Mr. Presiding. Speaker, inquiry.
Inquiry, please, from our council.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues. Honorable Speaker, My inquiry is on the basis of the statement you made. I think our concentration is on the issue of non-compliance. Therefore, if the chairman has outlined those compliant SOEs, I think we'll focus on those who are not compliant so that we can know exactly why they are not compliant. And then probably before we go to those who are compliant.
Simply discharge those who are compliant.
And discharge those who are compliant.
No. People information denied. The fact is that we want to listen to those that are compliant to anything those who are not compliant. So the listen as well. Let me take Amadou, please. Amadou, please get something. What are Okay. Let me figure out what Amadou. Then I will come back to you for input. Amadou, please.
Mr. President,
I did not confront you in no way.
Mr. President, let me say thanks to the chairman of Mr. Fana for the presentation, but he left some things out. Mr. President, on the part of road fund, he said road fund is contributing, yes, according to the record as we speak. As of October 31st, according to our yearly road fund, has contributed approximately 28 million. Of presiding, I want to bring this to the attention of the plenary, and it's good that the Ministry of Justice is here. When we passed the 2025 budget, we were clear in the 2025 budget that that the market should contribute to the road fund. Mr. President, we made fall short on the contribution of road fund. If the mountain doesn't make her contribution as enshrined within the budget. Unfortunately, the Ministry of Finance isn't here. Unfortunately, LRA isn't here because when we had the hearing on that day, all LRA needed was to get the permission from the Ministry of Finance to start the enforcement in terms of collection from B Mountain. So, Mr. President, it is within the budget law that B Mountain should contribute. 2, in the 2025, it is enshrined within the budget law that LRA should have viewing and garnishing rights. We believe if those two rights were being enforced by viewing SOE account and garnishing the share of government from those SOE, we wouldn't be here today. But it is good again the Ministry of Justice here because it is alleged, which I may not want to speak it out here for the public, but I guess the Minister of Justice representative will be able to speak to that. So, Mr. Presiding, co-presiding colleagues, the essence of government is not friendship. The essence of government is to uphold and provide those deliverables for the people. That's why which party is in position. Mr. Presiding, as we speak today, some of the SOEs are not contributing, and they are intended to raise revenue for the government operation. If they are not operating, and not just that, when they are called to hearings to demonstrate their action, their refusal to come even before the full plenary of the House of Representatives speaks to the fact that they have overlooked the committees. Let me say this. It is out there in the press that there is fusion in terms of the budget hearing. The law is very clear. Article 34D.
How we address another time, please. How we address another time.
Yeah.
That's not the topic for today.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. So, one more. You started to get from the discussion. So let me take information from the benefit. On the benefit, then you can. On the benefit,
Let me remind all of us that the purpose of today's hearing came out of the desire to ensure compliance by the SOEs, but to ensure that we have an overview of their budget, their own budget, so we know how they're spending the public money. Without those budgets, without knowing how they are expending the money that they are generating, sitting here and assume that this person is giving 1 million, this person is giving 1 million, does not allow us sufficient time and information to do that, because as the body club, by the Constitution, to appropriate expenditure, we can cut down some of these expenditure when we see it through the measure committees. We have, for instance, limited the legislature, for instance, on the cost of vehicles. Some of these SOEs are buying vehicles 3 times the cost of what we are doing.
Information.
Yeah.
Information.
So,
The information to the honorable delegate is proceeding, but I just have this information for you. Despite always up the budget from these SOEs, there are clear indications and proofs that they are undertaking capital projects.
Exactly. Yes, yes.
Information. Thank you.
And that even compounds the issue. Committing the resources of the country without the acquiescence of the national legislature against the Constitution.
now what you call it SOE. Without government. Government have those SOEs, they normal business, they do the accrual business in the country. Whereas the government entities are not revenue generating entities, they are government entities and not supplementary. So all that government have a board, the government cannot dictate to the board the staff. The board report to the government. We have no authority over the expenditure, except they are not, except the assessment is not fully realized by us. When we assess them, when they experience them, we just want our assessment. So they can do anything they want to do. They have a board, the board can go to the president. We also can summon the board, or we don't have the right to do the budget. And the previous thing, where you see Do you see in the budget, do you see expenditure level of the question, do you see expenditure level of the I am looking at your happy number accounting. Do you see expenditure level of the continue, please. I know you're dying the process. I don't think you're going to wrong.
They are remind is presiding. That the meaning of SOE is Faithful Enterprises. All government agencies under the executive branch of government are subject to the PPCC Act and the PFM law. And the PFM law requires every government agency to seek approval before checking capital investment. That is the reason why, if our speaker is correct, that we don't have control over the evidence, then why are they there?
No, I mean, that's to me.
We have control. Yeah, please. I will speak up the argument. Why do I start I'm an economist as well. Speak up. And I know that these people are generating money, and the company they are operating are for Liberian people, and the dividend that a corporation is supposed to generate is not supposed to be spent. I don't think so. Yeah. So my most important point is we need a PhD girl.
Please conclude. You got one more minute, please.
Information speakers.
Information is now.
Let me inform us that for us to understand
Other information is now.
For us to understand how much these entities are making, how much they're appropriating for the very project the speaker is referring to, how much they're appropriating for their own use, how they are using the public money. We cannot do that without the information, for instance, the American gave us. Each and every entity per year should give us a budget out of which a determination by this house can be paid, as to which of the project land is appropriate and which is not, and as to how much they can contribute to the national budget.
Thank you. Thank you. Our Musa and our Texas Zero, that will come to the information.
Let me start by thanking the Honorable Chair for recent meetings, for the wrap-up debate. Mr. Speaker, we don't want to miss the essence of this hearing. Abba, you will have to give the Speaker chance. The Speaker talking about accounting, accounting saying, so you can balance the argument. And you don't have to respect the Speaker the fact that he is not accounting for. Mr. Speaker, I don't want to miss the discussion. Let's my previous issue. First, Mr. Speaker, we have a budget of 2.1 billion. I mean, 1.2 billion. Of that amount, 200 million is contingent on us ratifying a deal that we don't have. Sure. On the PSRP budget, the 200 million that we have not even grasped yet is focused on PSRP. Unfortunately, the budget as presented from our own domestic revenue, we don't have money towards PSRP. It means that if we don't ratify as a result, we are going to be running a country and inflation almost $1 billion and nothing going towards projects. That's the reason why it is important for us to discuss state-owned enterprises. And that's why we have called them. Mr. Speaker, we do know that these state-owned enterprises make a lot of money. Yes. We do know also, agree with that in terms of their operations, we don't determine their budget lines, but also, if they are making money and they are not fulfilling their own obligations to government, then it's important for us to look at their budget and restrict them accordingly. Because they are not of themselves, they are state-owned. And if they are owned by the state must benefit from them. Mr. Speaker, we think that the SOEs can do more because they have the ability. I gave you an example, Mr. Speaker, and you agree with me. Check the SOEs payroll. Their payroll are way up there. Check the SOEs when it comes to capital expenditure. It's way up there. Running from the maritime to the LTA to MPA, LPRC, they are all having huge capital expenditure. Is that bad? No, it's not. But to the extent that you refuse to contribute to the budget, then there's a problem. And that's the reason why we think the SOEs can do more. Mr. Speaker, check receivables from the SOEs. They have this huge receivables. People owe them. Unfortunately, not many of them make effort to collect those monies, because if they collected those monies, it will have big impact on their operational expense and also on and also make sure that they going to be moved. These are the payables. They pay more. They want to make sure that the payables are paid out. But only we still end, they are not helping us. So, Mr. Speaker, all of these things are helping to cause problems for the SOEs not to contribute. There's a second side, and that's why it's a problem. Since 2023-2024 budget, the first budget, we specifically enshrined in the budget law that LRA must have voting rights and balancing power. Since 2024, the essence of that was bigger that if SOEs are claiming that they are broke and they can contribute, and LRA is able to see in their accounts at any point in time that they have a cash flow reaching above 5 million, then it does not die. And so to make sure that they are able to contribute to us, we want the LRA to have balancing rights. Unfortunately, information. Unfortunately,
information to the distinguished gentleman from Niputa is that it's not about us giving LRA that view and direction right. We've given that to LRA already, and they have it. So if you have waited for me to conclude, we are not going to. Thank you.
Unfortunately, the young brother forgot that he's talking to a financial manager. Hold on.
There's no young brother in here. I will not allow you to be
who are used to senior administration finance. So, for the point, let's go back to the real point, Mr. Speaker. The real point is that we think that if LRA is executing that action right, then I think I never meant to say that before you start talking to us. How do you have That's right. You boys are talking. Yeah. So, Mr. Speaker, the real reason for which we call this justice is because for time, I myself, during my journey as chairman of the Liberia, we had a few of justice. They have refused to ensure that that transition right is being exercised. Because, again, they have said that there are some critical legal issues when it comes to that. Our position is, and our position continues to be, Speaker, that if these SOEs, Musa, we are talking, listen to you.
Don't call him Musa.
Okay, appear.
Don't call him Musa. How are you?
Mr. Speaker, I know because you know the importance of what I'm saying and which I am, you give me additional 10 seconds. So, Mr. Speaker, the new issue is that if these SOEs are out and we have proof based on their operations that they have huge bank accounts and they have huge operations that can give us more money, we think that if the LRA is able to implement that power we gave them in the budget law, we'll get more money. Unfortunately, the Justice Ministry have been a stumbling block. The Justice Minister has refused. The Justice Minister has refused to work along the LRA in the legal system to ensure that LRA can do that. The reason we got them the other day is into for one, to tell the SOEs that we will give you targets, including the MBA who have agreed to come there. You will have to pay to this budget. And one. Two, to instruct the Justice Minister that no matter the legal justification, find the legal ways to ensure that FRA is when laws put that on each other, they can be on working out. To instruct the Minister of Justice to ensure that whatever the issues are, at the end of the day, the NIA must be able to go to those accounts and to be able to manage economy. Lastly, I heard you talking to the Speaker of our police. Some people are hey, my man, I still what are you talking about?
People are knowledgeable.
I heard you talking to the Speaker about compliance. And compliance, it's not just about compliance issue, it's about seasonality. Revenue, it goes by season. Unfortunately, those who are even compliant, you know what they do? They wait on their own timing. Instead of, for example, paying in March, I can pay June. But mind you, government has some expense line that are not based on season. Salaries have to be paid. So even for the compliance taxpayer, SOE, we want to ensure that FRA has balance sheet rights so that when the time comes and you don't pay, FRA can do it. That's the request.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So while we hold our input for one, let's bring forth the justice.
You said you rather after our civil.
Yeah, you tell me.
Information. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues. Mr. Speaker, the information is that the essence of this hearing today is to ensure we have clear understanding of SOEs who are not in compliance. The chairman of the committee has presented to this body informing us that there are some SOEs that are in full compliance. As such, and some of the SOEs are currently present. My own recommendation is that those SOEs, my information is that those SOEs should be given the opportunity to excuse those who are not compliant. So we hope those who are not
then we allow it.
That's the essence of the hearing.
As a result of the garnishing right,
Good afternoon.
We appear before you today based on the citation from this noble and honorable institution to appear and address the reported refusal of SOEs to support the fiscal year 2025 national budget and to state the Ministry of Justice position for allegedly stopping the LRA from collecting all legitimate revenue from SOEs. We first want to clarify that at no time did the Ministry of Justice prevent the LRA from collecting legitimate revenue from SOEs. Permit us to state the facts surrounding your query. The 2024 national budget requires income-generating SOEs to contribute to the fiscal budget of 2024 in amounts allotted by the legislature as budgetary support. Section 8, subsection J of the 2024 national budget empowered the LRA to have due rights on all internal revenue generating accounts for every generating entities, including SOEs, and reserve the right to
the government is stamping their out and everything. That was not complicated. Only, you know, I was saying to the Ministry of Justice and the Candidacy right, the review right. The Justice Ministry is supposed to
I think you're addressing the issue. So let's listen to the communication now. So let's listen to please, what you have to clarity. How much you like? Can you please be the communication sent to the Commission of Justice? You got a copy there? How much you got? You got a copy? Can you get the chief level of the report, please? I don't you excuse. Go ahead. I don't you excuse. What is the for?
Minister of Justice, my friend, Liberia. Dear Honorable Minister, I present compliments and my directive of the Honorable House of Representatives section request your appearance before its plenary on Tuesday, December 2, 2025 at 10 a.m. Honorable Minister, you are called to address the reported refusal of SOEs to support the fiscal year 2025 national budget. According to outcome of the convened hearing, the House's Committee on Ways, Means, Finance and Development Planning focused on revenue forecast. There is an absence of support from the state-owned enterprises. You will in addition state their legal reliance for allegedly stopping the Liberia Revenue Authority from collecting all legitimate revenue from the
Thank you, Madam. Thank you so much. So that allows the Minister to continue.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. In May 2024, it was noticed that some SOEs, including the National Food Authority, the National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority, the Liberia Petroleum Refining Corporation, NAFA failed to contribute to the budget as provided for in the national budget. When the SOEs failed to pay their contributions as stipulated in the 2024 national budget, the LRA, as a means of ensuring compliance with the 2024 national budget, instituted actions against the SOEs in the tax code for Montserrat County. The Ministry of Justice, in an effort to resolve the matter amicably, engaged the LRA, which involved agencies of the executive branch of government, engaged the LRA to hold the litigation and organize meetings between the LRA and the concerned SOEs. This intervention resulted in the NPA making a payment of $1 million. $1 million. Regrettably, LRA did not reply to the Ministry of Justice on defaults of the SOEs in honoring their obligations. The Ministry of Justice is the prosecuting arm of government of the Republic of Liberia and is authorized to institute all suits on behalf of the government of Liberia and defend all suits against the government of Liberia. In this regard, while Section 8, Subsection J of the National Budget of 2024 authorizes the LRA to institute garnishment proceedings against SOEs that fail to contribute to the national budget as stipulated in the national budget, the Ministry of Justice deemed this, though legal, but as not experienced. The primary reason for this determination is that garnishment is a special proceeding with emphasis, I will restate. The primary reason for the MOJ's action was that garnishment is a special proceeding under our civil procedure law, section 44.35, 44.36, 44.37. It can be utilized by a judgment creditor against a person in possession of custody of money or other personal property in which the judgment debtor has an interest, or against a person who is a transferee of money or other personal property from the judgment debtor. It can also be utilized against a person who is shown or is or will become indebted to the judgment debtor. Under our laws, any party who is sued must be given due process. That is, that person must be given notice of the proceedings, a time to respond, a hearing, etc. The individual will be entitled to defend himself or herself against the claim. All the procedure governing our legal proceeding is provided for under special proceedings. The right to file responsive pleadings, the right to a hearing, the right to appeal rulings to the Supreme Court. Therefore, as garnishment proceeding would drag on for a protracted period, though being legal, it is not expedient. The approach of the Ministry of Justice did not yield good results as the NPA made a payment of $1 million and nothing else. We must emphasize that the President has overall responsibility for all policy matters related to the national budget and public financial management of the Republic of Liberia, and has the authority to take decisions and actions necessary to carry out such responsibilities. The national budget is signed by the President and submitted to him by the national legislature. Hence, it is a mandate from the President to all members of the executive branch of government. SOE, being part and parcel of the executive branch of government, are required to comply with stipulations of the national budget. Those failing to do so are not only failing in executing and implementing their duties, responsibilities, and functions, but are directly contravening the express direct orders of the President. He has the authority to correct him by taking the necessary disciplinary actions and decisions against him as in his discretion in the state. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Deputy Speaker, and distinguished members of the House of Representatives. That's our initial submission.
So we will cover the presentation for the decision, please. So before the office of the chief clerk. Thank you so much.
Inquiry.
Okay, then before the inquiry, like we said earlier in our discussion that before the assess and performing, you have to excuse them for this discussion. We then want to listen to the Ministry of Justice presentation so that any decision plenary will take will be very clear. So all those performing SOEs like one the Maritime, LTA, and Road Fund, please excuse us. Charging those are the people that are performing according to the budget. 100% performing. Our charging please charge the performing NG.
Honorable Speaker, inquiry.
We have to repeat the schools of please, we have what to do. LTA, Maritime, Road Fund, please excuse us.
Honorable Speaker, you have to start and direct the speaker.
So, Plenary has come out with a decision that those the SOEs that are in compliance to contributing to the national budget should be discharged. And they have been discharged. Those that were present today were the Liberia Telecommunication Authority, the National Aqua Fishery Authority, and NOCA, also the National Road Fund. They were all here, but they have been discharged by Plenary because according to the House's Committee Chair on Ways, Means and Finance, Maryland County District 1 Representative P. Manchure, he said that those SOEs have been in compliance in contributing to the national budget, except for some, which include the National Port Authority and the Liberia Petroleum Refinery Company, LPRC, are those that, according to the chairman, have not been in compliance in contributing to the national budget. So the Ministry of Justice is still here.
Distinguished honorable lawmakers, let me first thank you for affording us the opportunity to be here to tell our story. As per the communication presented to us, that NAFA has refused to commit to the 2026 budget. I just want to also clarify that NAFA has not refused, but rather we indicated $500,000 to the 2026 budget. Let me